Been some talk about possibly Joshua using Jake Paul as a tune-up to fight you. What are your thoughts on that?
I don't know about tune-up. I think Jake Paul knocks him out.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Why so? What impresses you about Jake Paul?
I just think Jake Paul would knock AJ out. I think AJ's a spam force.
A3, Mikey, your hands can't hit what your eyes can't see. Whoop.
Tyson Fury believes Jake Paul is actually going to win this fight. And the shocking claim is that he's secretly helping Jake beat his arch-rival AJ so he never has to come out of retirement again. Netflix heard that and immediately said, "Don't hide it, record it." Now Jake Paul is training with the Gypsy King like they're plotting a boxing coup against Anthony Joshua. Is this brilliance, insanity, or the biggest twist in boxing history? Stay glued. It only gets crazier from here.
Let's go!
What if someone told you the simulation finally glitched so hard that the internet's most unpredictable boxer decided to train under the undefeated heavyweight chaos machine known as Tyson Fury? Netflix must have looked at the world and said, "Things are too normal, release the plot twist."
Any guy that you fought before, is this a unique situation that you've never come across?
Very unique situation I've never come across, but treating with the same respect that I give all my competition.
So you got the mental fortitude, he's got the mental fortitude. But what's the one best thing that you pride Jake Paul of having that maybe you haven't seen in other competition you faced so far?
From a physical aspect, I couldn't even mention it at the minute. But from a mental aspect, he offered me the fight. Normally I'm offering people fights. He's told me, come and fight. So he believes in himself.
And suddenly, Jake Paul is packing his bags, stepping into a training camp that's less rocky and more family-friendly WWE without the script. Because apparently to beat Anthony Joshua, you don't just need discipline, strategy, or like years of traditional boxing experience. No, you need Tyson Fury yelling conditioning tips that sound like ancient Viking riddles while Netflix cameras zoom in like they're documenting the discovery of a new dinosaur species.
Tell us about your training with Jake Paul, when that was, how much sparring you did with him.
So training with Jake Paul, I got to understand how he was as a fighter. He was new into the boxing. You know, he was developing at a very quick rate. This guy trained his ass off. Like, we would spar twice a week in the hot-ass gym in Puerto Rico. I don't wish that on my worst enemy. Dude, when I tell you Jake was beating up all these professional boxers who was sparring them, it was just one of those, like, bro, he was whooping their ass and sending them home. That same night, he told everybody bluntly, I'm sending you, and home. Only person saying he's this guy, Anthony.
This whole situation feels like someone mixed 3 different movies into one and didn't bother to check the genre. Day 1 of camp reportedly features Jake learning that jogging up hills with Fury is not a peaceful nature walk, but an ancient British ritual scientifically designed to make grown men reconsider every life decision from age 9.
Do you actually think Jake Paul knocks out Joshua? Seriously?
Jake Paul chins AJ, yes, they fight.
Are you serious?
100%. If they fight, I'm putting £1 million on Jake Paul.
What?
Yeah.
I have to walk to the car park.
Yeah, let's go.
You being serious when you say that?
100%. Dean White will back me up as well.
What?
I said,
If
if Jake Paul fights Anthony Joshua, I'm putting £1 million on Jake Paul.
You put £1 million? What the fuck? Why would you do that?
Just because I want some free money.
If you've ever wondered what the human version of a YouTube prank challenge looks like when it involves push-ups, it's Fury training sessions. Meanwhile, Jake shows up with energy like, "I am ready for greatness." And Fury responds with the energy of a man who thinks warm-up should legally count as attempted cardio assassination. And Netflix is just there, chin in hands, thinking, yes, viewer retention. The best part? Nobody knows what's happening. Not Jake, not the audience, not the scientists studying the footage, and probably not Fury, which is exactly why the world is glued to this storyline. Every training scene looks like a deleted documentary about taming wild horses, except Jake is the horse. Anthony Joshua, somewhere in the world, probably feels cold suddenly, like someone started training in a way the rulebook of boxing was not emotionally prepared for. And speaking of awkward sensations, the public reaction has been priceless. Half the internet is convinced Jake Paul is about to ascend into some unstoppable monster.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
through it all, Netflix is leaning back like a villain in a leather chair whispering, content. Now, it wasn't enough for Jake to train with Fury. No. So what happens? The training camp becomes a psychological thriller disguised as a workout vlog. Picture Jake in sparring, right? Everyone expects a soft test round. But no, Fury brings in someone shaped like a refrigerator with arms, whose hobbies probably include breaking punching bags for spiritual clarity. Jake gets one good jab in, and suddenly this human industrial freezer activates demo mode, and Netflix cameras start shaking because even the cameraman flinched. And what does Fury do? Claps proudly like Jake just invented electricity. But hilariously, Jake does improve. Slowly, chaotically, like a toddler learning to walk next to a stampede. It's not graceful, but it's happening. 1 week in, and he's already learning that defense isn't optional, stamina doesn't grow on trees, and Fury's insults somehow make a person stronger.
Good.
Netflix looks at the transformation like a nature documentary. You can practically hear a voiceover saying, "Here we observe the influencer learning the ancient techniques of survival, once thought impossible for his species." And Jake, sensing the power, starts leaning into the confidence, because why not? When you step into a ring with Anthony Joshua, confidence might be your only working muscle by round 6. Fury, meanwhile, keeps adding new drills that feel like mini-boss battles. Someone probably asked him, "Why are we sparring in freezing water?" And Fury answered, "Because Tuesday." While the internet sits there going, is this training? Is this trolling? Is this performance art? Netflix is sipping profits like it's lemonade. The funniest part is watching journalists try to analyze footage as if any of this is normal. You see slow-motion replays of Fury screaming motivational poetry while Jake lifts weights shaped like automobile parts. Experts are out here saying things like, "This technique is unconventional but interesting," which is analyst code for "we have no idea what's going on."
Camp is camp. It's tough, but it's for me to want to push myself. This is what I do, this is what I live for. I'm ready for battle. You know, I'll breathe life into this division. You know, I'll bring excitement. And when I'm at the top, I take on all challenges.
And somewhere out there, Anthony Joshua is scrolling through his phone, seeing Netflix thumbnails of Jake and Fury standing next to each other and thinking, so this is the timeline we're in. He suddenly trains with the seriousness of a man preparing for both a boxing match and a tax audit. Fury just crackles with joy watching someone else suffer for once. It's like watching a man bond with a power washer he just bought. Then things escalate because Netflix doesn't believe in the concept of enough. Sparring gets harder, drills get louder. Every clip ends with Jake collapsing and Fury saying, "That was warm-up," and Netflix executives screaming with joy because they just captured 30 more seconds of premium documentary suffering. By week 3, Jake is somehow faster, stronger, more durable, and slightly traumatized in a character-building way. His punches look crisper. He moves with a kind of seriousness that says, "If I don't win this fight, at least I won't get yelled at again today." That's motivation.
What do you think about the Anthony Joshua and Jake Paul fight?
I love to see it. I love to see people actually fighting. I think people have been talking shit about Jake Paul for too long. He is just fighting like retired people instead of journeymen. Like, real boxers should also be ashamed of fighting journeymen all the time. So I feel like what he's doing is way better. So I'm excited. I don't think Jake Paul is going to win, though. I think Anthony Joshua is very, very good. I honestly don't know what he's thinking. I think that's everybody's thinking that, but he's always thinking something. He's very smart. So I'm excited to see it.
And Netflix, sniffing an award somewhere in the distance, starts filming emotional backstory segments. Slow piano music, inspirational lighting, Jake shadowboxing in the rain like a man doing taxes with passion. Fury walks by casually with the vibe of someone texting while bullets fly in an action movie. It is cinematic. It is ridiculous. It is glorious. The world, of course, responds appropriately by arguing. Some fans claim Jake is about to shock the entire sport. Others say he will need a chiropractor after round 2, but everyone agrees on one thing. This documentary is too entertaining to ignore, and the build-up to Anthony Joshua becomes its own sport. Predictors argue, analysts panic. Soon, rumors start flying about secret strategies. Fury apparently has Jake practicing something never seen before. So secret that Netflix pixelates it like it's nuclear codes. The audience goes feral trying to guess what it is. Maybe it's a new combination. Maybe it's a new stance. Maybe it's a Fortnite emote that distracts opponents. Netflix refuses to confirm. The days count down, the anticipation builds, and Jake looks like a man who has been forged in cardio and sarcasm. Fury looks like a man proud that he broke someone and rebuilt them. And Netflix looks like a parent who never doubted their chaotic child once.
You look forward to facing off with Joshua. To break down the face-off, what do you think about his size? Did you say anything? Did he say anything?
No, we didn't say anything, but he looks intense, focused, locked in. He's obviously very, very tall. Looking up, my tallest opponent. My eyes are at his, chest level. But yeah, he's locked in. I'm locked in. I don't think there's fear in his eyes or in my eyes.
Yeah, Jake, tell us the difference between your face-off with Gervonta, where you're a head taller looking down, and now looking up at Joshua.
No, it's surreal. All of it is very, very funny, and my neck started to hurt after looking up for a little bit. But this is what we signed up for, and he's very tall. But that
fight week approaches, and the tension becomes entertainment gold. Shots of Jake wrapping his hands like he's preparing for both war and graphic design. Shots of Fury nodding like a general who trains troops by throwing them into volcanoes. Close-ups of seriousness so intense that background music can't decide whether to sound inspirational or ominous. And then clips leak of Jake sparring, and things look good, really good. Suddenly, the world realizes Tyson Fury might have created a problem, a big one. The kind of problem boxing hasn't calculated for. And that's the real brilliance of this documentary. Nobody knows what happens next. Is Jake Paul about to land the upset of the decade? Is Fury secretly setting him up for a reality check so severe it becomes a case study? Will Anthony Joshua walk into the ring like a calm storm and remind everyone that boxing is not a video game? The uncertainty is entertainment. The chaos is the hook. The training footage is the fuel. Netflix is the puppet master cackling behind the curtain. So when fight night finally arrives, the world won't be watching only to see who wins. They'll be watching to see whether Jake Paul just trained with a genius or joined an endurance-based cult disguised as a boxing camp.
Depending on punch power, you know it takes a lot more than that to be a great fighter. A lot more than that to be a great fighter. So there's various ways I'll win. I got the fighter spirit, and that's how I'll go in there and break him down with my spirit.
You're walking out in front.
This is more than a match. It's a storyline that shouldn't exist and yet absolutely does. The kind of matchup ancient philosophers would have written essays about titled, "Has Humanity Gone Too Far?" Either Jake shocks the world and becomes the point of 1,000 think pieces, or Anthony Joshua politely erases Jake's brain activity for a few rounds and Fury just shrugs like, well, we trained hard. Either way, Netflix wins, the audience wins. And history gets the most entertaining sports documentary nobody asked for, but everyone will watch anyway. Because whether Jake Paul rises, falls, shocks, or combusts, one thing is certain. When you mix Netflix, Tyson Fury, Jake Paul, and Anthony Joshua into one storyline, there is no normal outcome. There is only chaos, and we're all here for it. If he loses, the internet will sprint to post "I told you so" memes with the speed and accuracy of Olympic sprinters chasing internet clout. Meanwhile, Netflix will already be editing a sequel. You can practically hear the brainstorm session. What if, for the rematch, Jake trains underwater with dolphins and maybe Elon Musk appears because brand synergy? At this point, nothing is too insane for this universe. If tomorrow Netflix announced Jake Paul sparring against a hologram of Muhammad Ali powered by AI, nobody would blink. We'd just add it to the watch list.
Yo, people think I'm crazy, but I actually think Jake Paul has a chance of beating Anthony Joshua. See, most of you are thinking about Anthony Joshua and y'all are thinking about like, oh my God, Anthony's a beast. He's not the same fighter. He's took a lot of punishment. He doesn't move the same. He doesn't fight the same. He's not as hungry. Jake is catching Anthony Joshua at the perfect time. Listen to what I'm saying. He's catching him at the perfect time because Jake's hungry, he's strong, he's getting better, he has a decent jab.
And let's not forget the side characters, boxing fans who act like unpaid professors holding debates so heated they could power a small city. Netflix watches all of this like a king observing peasants fight over legendary breadcrumbs. Through it all, Jake keeps training with the seriousness of a man who knows the entire planet is either waiting for his coronation or his humiliation. And somehow that pressure becomes fuel. Somewhere inside, he knows. If he pulls this off, it becomes the greatest "everyone laughed at me" until moment in sports entertainment history. If he doesn't, well, it still becomes the most replayed highlight reel on the internet, which is exactly why this story works so perfectly. It doesn't matter which side you're on, you're already invested. That's the magic. That's the chaos. That's the reason Netflix turned the boxing world into a global group chat nobody can escape. And now, all that's left is to watch the world collide in the ring. Whatever happens, history won't forget it, and neither will the meme pages.